Every new day, we get a chance to set the record straight, a clean slate, the opportunity to choose greatness and to stop making excuses. Motivation is cheap, discipline is difficult, but discipline gets results. Your mindset matters. My name is Miles Biggs, and this is Relish the Journey. So a few months ago for work, I was in what we call a marketing workshop with a company, and we were just vibing, going back and forth and talking about their brand, which kind of snowballed into society at large and some, sort of philosophical conversations. And we got into this topic of what people need versus what they want. And so in marketing, right, if you're selling a need, it's a little bit different messaging than if you're trying to create the need, which isn't really a need, it's a want, and that emotional response with something. And it's a fascinating topic, especially if you're a marketer. But the example my client gave, I thought was really interesting. And this was months ago, but I've continued to think about it. And so much so, I decided I'd share it with you so that you all can think about it. The example he gave was this. He was watching some sort of documentary, and they showed this image of Cape Canaveral and one of the first launches of a space shuttle. All the people were lined up in their convertible cars. They're on the beach, laying out their blankets and their picnics, and they're making a whole day of this experience. I mean, think about this. The first space shuttle to launch into outer space. That's a big deal. That's a let's make a picnic out of it moment. And so these people photographed were sitting in their cars, and they had thermoses of coffee. So that's a very small detail, but I want to unpack that for a little bit. Think about your life. When was the last time you left your house with a thermos of coffee? A thermos can hold about a pot of coffee, depending on the size. And you'd unscrew the top. It would stay hot all day. This was like the original Yeti, where it would stay warm for a long period of time. You'd pour the coffee into the lid, which doubled as a cup, very high tech, and you'd enjoy your coffee on the go. So that meant you had to have a coffee maker at home. You had to have coffee at home. You had to brew an entire pot of coffee with the intention of pouring it into this thermos and taking it with you on your expedition. Advanced planning required, okay? We do not do that today. Some people might. If you're listening to this and enjoying coffee out of your thermos, good on you. But for the rest of us, if you look down on your hand, chances are we have our $40 Yeti tumblers or alternative, right? A travel mug. Or you're staring down at your branded coffee cup of choice, be it Starbucks or Dunkin' or, the gas station you went to in the morning, and you bought one cup of coffee to go. And so you think about the want versus the need. First of all, coffee in general is just a want. We can debate that till you want, but we don't need to have coffee. We like it. It wakes us up, but it's definitely a want, not a need. But if we were going to take coffee on the go, we don't need to drive through a coffee chain and buy a cup of coffee. For that same amount that we spend on one cup of coffee, you can buy a pound of coffee at the grocery store and make it in your house, pour it into your thermos. You wouldn't need a travel mug then because the thermos doubles as the mug, and go about the day. So I think it's just fascinating how marketing has taught us to believe we need things. Because this conversation is not just about coffee. That's what I'm using as an example. We went from thermoses and coffee to Starbucks $5 lattes. And think about what else we've done with that. Do you need the fancy car you're driving? Do you need the big house? Do you need the $1,000 smartphone in your pocket that we now make monthly payments on? Think about that. I bought a flip phone for $3 when I went to college. Now we have a monthly payment on a phone in our pocket. We don't need that, but we want it because everyone else has it, because the commercials tell us we should have it and should want it, and that we're less than if we don't. So I think it takes a very powerful person to still rock that thermos of coffee. It makes me want to go buy a thermos. But that's the challenge for this week, right? Think about your day. Go through your day. And when you're making purchases, when you're going through your morning routines, when you're at your desk at work, when you're driving, think about the things we consume, all the possessions you have. What do you actually need? And then what do you want that you have? What could you have room for in your life if you didn't get distracted by the wants and only focused on the needs? How much more money could you save if you didn't spend it all on wants and focused on the needs? What bigger goals could you have reached? Because money is a huge factor that drives a lot of things in life. You could buy that beach house. You could save for retirement and retire early. You could focus on that long-term goal and that long-term need versus the short-term $5 coffee, right? So think about that, document it, and try to change just one of those things and commit to changing that thing for a month and see what happens. Then you make it a game. What else can you change? What else can you do? And slowly start ticking away at those wants. Just focus on the needs, and you'll find in that discipline, there's freedom. That's Jocko Willink. I love Jocko Willink. Listen to him. Go Google Jocko Willink good and watch that YouTube video. That could be a whole nother Monday podcast. But his whole phrase, he wrote a book about it, is discipline equals freedom. When we're disciplined to only focus on what we need, it actually makes room in our lives. We're free of all this mental clutter when we start thinking for ourselves and don't give in to all that other BS. So there you go. Think about that this week, a month. If you take the challenge and you want to share your results, shoot me an email, miles@rtjmedia.com. They're starting to come in on these, and I really enjoy it. Actually posted on my Instagram story a couple months ago. I had someone sign an email to me, your fellow turtle, from the one episode I put out, which really made me smile. So challenge yourself. Your mindset matters. Change the way you think. Change the way you see the world. And until next time, everybody, cheers.